Hey there, everybody. Jake Bucher here, and I want to talk to you about a common problem I see with a lot of beginner students of mine, and probably just a lot of beginners in general, that can really, slow down their progress, can cause a lot of frustration, and really hinder their development as a player. So what I'm talking about is the way that they're strumming their guitar. Something as simple as strumming can play a huge role in just how much you're going to enjoy playing the instrument. So what I notice is I see a lot of people struggling with it where I'm noticing they're sourcing all their movement when they're strumming their guitar comes from their elbow. So they're playing and taking these big wide movements. My pick starts up here and then finishes down there. So these big movements are not good. It limits our speed, our accuracy, just how smooth we can play something. So we really want to work this out of our playing. It's a bad habit that just starts in the very beginning for a lot of people. So what we want to change up is going from strumming from our elbow, where my whole wrist and hand is sort of moving, to where I'm strumming from my wrist. Now I'm having a lot less movement from my arm. It's all just kind of focused on my hand rotating to strum the strings. You'll notice that I'm not starting up here and finishing down here. I'm really kind of staying within the confines of where the strings are. So that's going to help with, just speed big time. All right, so how do we go from our elbow strumming to our wrist strumming? So first thing we're going to look at is how we're holding the guitar with our strumming hand. So what I notice with the elbow strummers is when they're strumming, they almost put their arm in front of the guitar, almost like you're giving the guitar a big hug or something. I love my guitar, but we're not hugging. It's a bad tip for you right there. So what we want to do is, instead of hugging the guitar, we want to focus on this sort of top arch of the guitar right here. And I want to have my wrist resting on that. So the part of my wrist that I want resting, I would say would be found about like a quarter to a third the way up past my elbow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that spot like right in this general area and have it just resting on that top arch of that guitar. Just making contact, allowing my hand to, just rest comfortably where it just floats above the strings. So now I have that point of contact with my wrist and my hand where it can just float above the strings, and I can engage and strum when I want. What this is doing, keeping your wrist this way, is it's locking your elbow from moving and doing that bad habit of, strumming from the elbow. So now we have that point of contact there, locking your elbow into place, kind of setting you up right for that wrist movement. Now that you're there, we want to take a look at what my thumb's doing. Before, when I was elbow strumming, take a look at like the line my pick would be moving. It would just move in like a straight line across the strings, When I switch to my elbow strumming, my thumb has kind of like a slope that it goes along. When I'm strumming down, it goes straight, but then out at the end. And then when I go up, kind of the opposite way. So it almost creates like this U outline that I'm sort of tracing with my thumb. So there is kind of that angle out after the downstroke and angle after the upstroke. So take a look at, I think maybe we'll say like my thumbnail for this, just to once again highlight that. So starts here, and the thumbnail kind of faces up towards the ceiling and then more towards my guitar when I finish at the bottom there. All right, the other thing that I want to point out is, on an acoustic guitar, we're going to have the same concept. We're going to find that top arch right up here and that part of my wrist. And that lines me up nicely with the sound hole where I'm going to get optimal sound. So we're going to just continue that same thing. So this technique doesn't just apply to strumming chords. It also applies to playing really any lead line, scales, anything on guitar. I don't ever want to have this movement. So even if I'm playing like a scale, keeping that wrist contact there, which is still just keeping all that movement in my wrist versus, oh, now I'm hugging the guitar. And now I'm playing like that. I'll never be able to play fast that way. Like, you know, if I'm playing like a scale, I have to keep like real small movements. Same thing for like chords. I would never be able to do that type of speed with those big swipes with my, or makes it real, you know, challenging. Think about like a nice funky like James Brown type of chord. That's all coming from my wrist. My arm would fall off if I was trying to do that with my elbow. Yeah, it's not happening. Okay, so this is a really important part of playing, just to get this technique down. But you got to realize that it's not going to be something like it's just going to find its way into your playing tomorrow. It's something that you're going to have to be aware of, and you know, just you're really going to have to notice it in your playing, because it's something that's going to gradually work its way in. It all comes to just awareness of when you're doing it the elbow way, when you're doing it the right way, the wrist way. So just be aware. You can take some tips of like, you know, maybe watch yourself play in the mirror, or video, you know, record yourself. I almost said videotape yourself. So those are some good techniques to just have that work its way out of your playing, but it's all with mindfulness of just being aware. So be patient with yourself with this. It will pay off as long as you keep working on it, and just really kind of, it's a mechanical issue more than anything. So go through those tips. If you found that this video helped, I offer, you know, I teach online guitar lessons to people all over the country. So get a hold of me. We could set something up. But also, at the very least, I would appreciate if you liked the video or subscribe to my channel. All right, thanks for watching.